Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic Monday today. It's gloomy today and kind of seems appropriate given what we're going to be talking about. But I am sure if you're watching this, you have probably watched the Jeffree Star and Chris Hansen interview, if you want to call it an interview. But I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts. And as somebody who is a journalist, I kind of wanted to give it from that perspective, because I do think there are points that people, I don't want to say are missing, but maybe as to why it seemed so scripted and rehearsed by Jeffree. So to start, I didn't watch it live. I was out grocery shopping and I completely forgot. I was like, oh my God, it's on at 4. I thought it was gonna be like Pacific time for some reason. But anyways, it was, Jeffree went in with, a very clean cookie cutter answer, like very rehearsed. And I saw reactions on Twitter. And I normally wouldn't, I wouldn't have looked at them, wouldn't have seen anything, but like I said, I forgot that it was happening at that time. So when I was watching it, my first thought was Chris Hansen had to have his questions pre-approved or sort of looked over before Jeffree saw them, or not before Jeffree saw them, but before the show happened. As a journalist, I have interviewed hockey players, and I know from one experience in particular, less than a year ago, I had to send over my list of questions before, the interview was approved, but they just kind of wanted to, not blindside the hockey player, which is that's fine. I don't think it's fair to go into an interview and not know what you're getting into. But at the same time, come on, Jeffree there was a lot of deflecting. He blamed the rock and roll culture, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's just how it was. We were offensive and I was dramatic. We did awful things. We said awful stuff. And I was like, yes, but you accused somebody of being a child. And Jeffree went on to say that he never saw anything. He saw, what is it, not creepy or suspicious behavior, but never anything illegal. And I was like, okay, so you're just gonna tweet false allegations. And again, of course, I get it. I've gone to concerts. I understand, what goes on, especially, when you're, I don't want to say, close with the band, but, when you have, a pre-established relationship and you go to the show, that's just, concert culture is, you're going to see a lot of drinking, you're going to see people smoking, and if you get on the tour bus, you get on the tour bus. I've never had friends. I've never been on the tour bus in a situation like that, but I've seen it. It's not, but that's besides the point. Jeffree, again, kind of just deflected everything and was very, very throw other people under the bus sort of behavior. He made it clear that there weren't any contractual or financial obligations for him working with Davi again. But the thing that kind of threw me off the most was when Chris Hansen asked about, the tweets, and he was like, you called Davi this, then you went on to call him your brother, and then you kind of did this, and Jeffree was like, oh, I'm just being dramatic. Davi and I were never friends. So why are you calling him your brother? how are you gonna say, oh, I'm just being dramatic? I'm dramatic, and I've never confused. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like I've never like been like, I see this person being weird, so I'm just gonna like call them out in a very public way, saying that like they're basically a child predator, and then be like, it's just theatrics. Like, no, you don't get to do that. So again, this kind of goes to show that Jeffree has a pattern of behavior of calling people predators and groomers, what have you, with no evidence, which is a problem, okay? Like, I don't know if he's projecting something, because honestly, like, you just don't, like, call people out. And I'm not saying that Jeffree is what he accused Davi of and what he accused James Charles of a year ago. Like, I'm not saying that. But there is something inside of him that he is projecting onto people. And I thought that it was very clear, his relationship with Hunter Moore, the guy who runs the runs the revenge porn site. You know, I think that I do believe that there were allegations of Jeffree raping an unconscious man. So, you know, like what's going on there? And it is a problem for anybody to be accusing other people of these things falsely. And I don't understand why Jeffree Star stans are just like, whatever, it's fine. Like, I do love him. He's just sassy. Like, what on earth are you doing? And it is so frustrating, because it's like, if any other human being did this, they would be canceled, never heard from again. What about Jeffree just excludes him from being held accountable? And this is where I'm going to kind of transition to talk about Chris Hansen, because Chris Hansen did not conduct an interview. He let Jeffree have the floor and control the narrative. I felt like watching it, I was like, when's Chris Hansen going to ask about why he lied about the tweets being photoshopped? Why did he not ask Jeffree about some of the questionable things in his past? And Jeffree just kept saying, well, like, they're trying to say that I'm responsible for bringing my fans around him and all this. It's like, you chose to go on tour with somebody who you knew was up to no good, okay? And I get it. You checked in with Jay, and I think he said Brandy. Like, you might have checked in with them, but your gut, like, you had witnessed things that were, like, suspicious, maybe not illegal, but suspicious and creepy from him on a previous tour. And I get it. Lots of money goes into tours and all this. Chris Hansen did not, like, do what an investigative journalist does, which is get to the bottom of things and get to the point. And this was not to discuss, like, just Davi as a whole. This was to discuss Jeffree Star's behavior. And Jeffree Star, I'm sorry, I do not understand how you can support him when he has falsely accused two people of being a child predator and a rapist. Like, I don't understand. And I'm getting very upset. Let me bring it in. But, I mean, yes, Davi Vanity is a child predator, but Jeffree's like, yeah, like, I just didn't see it. I was being dramatic. And Chris Hansen, like, didn't, like, follow that up with anything. And he was just like, okay. And then to close out the interview by saying, Jeffree's donating $100,000 to families all across America during this time. It's like, why are we painting this man as a saint when he has done so many things that are just wrong, and which he discussed in this video, and no one is holding him accountable? Like, Chris Hansen has lost any and all integrity he had. The worst thing he did for his own career was handle the Onision investigation the way that he did, which is a whole nother topic. But I was hoping that Chris Hansen could redeem himself in some way, shape, or form, and it was career suicide. I'm sorry. It is just so disappointing to see somebody who did what Chris Hansen did, and kept, obviously, To Catch a Predator, and then to come on YouTube and just kind of well, okay, we're just gonna excuse your really scummy behavior. And I think another problem I have with Chris Hansen is he let Jeffree Star control the interview. If this was a normal sit down conversation I would have with a fellow hockey writer or a hockey player, sure, let them control the conversation. But this was such a hard and heavy topic that there it didn't need to be an interrogation, but there needed to be more control from Chris Hansen. And in the beginning, which I should have started with, sorry, this is all over the place, but he was I'm gonna sit back and be a good listener like journalists do. Bro, you, yes, as a journalist, you listen, but you also need to be prepared with those follow-up questions. And somebody who has been in the industry and done so many things that Chris Hansen has done, the caliber, he knows that. He knows that he has to be quick on his feet, and he has zero integrity, and I got so upset. I watched it later at night, and it was 8 o'clock, but I watched it, and I was where is this? Just felt like a conversation between Jeffree and the camera, and Chris Hansen chimed in every few minutes, and it was just so infuriating to watch. So I don't know where this goes from here. Personally, I'm done watching anything Chris Hansen related. I'd watched a few of his Onision videos and a few interviews he did. I think he needs to just back off. YouTube is this is not the thing to be profiting off of. This is disgusting on his part, and I just really hope that the victims of Dobby Vanity get justice, and I hope that they get to go to court and throw that man in jail. Another thing that Jeffree did was he posted pictures of him in a gold wall and a gold outfit and just showing off his money, and was my wealth is grotesque or something. And at that time, Jesse Slaughter, who is the first victim that came forward, she was 11, and Dobby took advantage of her. And her real, her screen name or something is Grotesque Damie or something like that. And she was on I think it was Edwin's Generation, on his live stream, crying. And it was very hard not to see that as a dig at her. Grotesque is not a word that I think many people use on, to caption their selfies. But that's just me. That is just my opinion. Please don't come for me. Yeah, so that's that. I'm sorry that this is all over the place. I had a lot of thoughts. I had an outline done. I hated it. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I promise I will start editing these. I just want to just get them up, because if I edit it, it's just gonna be too choppy. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.